Hello, my nieces. Hello, my nephews. It's me, your Twin Flame Auntie, and I'm here to put you in timeout from the 5D and bring you back to Earth. Okay, we need to talk about escaping twin flames. You know that documentary on Netflix? Now, they did a pretty good job of exposing the cult like dynamics that can run rampant online and on YouTube and in other spiritual communities. But something else happened, something that Auntie's not happy about. Netflix gaslit an entire global community of people who are having a shared spiritual experience by focusing only on the coercive control from Twin Flames universe and the brainwashing aspects that some of their members experienced. The mainstream media successfully rebranded a legitimate global spiritual phenomenon into a mental health crisis or a scam. Think about it. The documentary never touched on why people were searching for twin flames in the first place. It didn't acknowledge the profound, often surreal, and undeniably high strangeness that many of us experienced long before we ever heard of Jeff, Shalea, or Twin Flames universe. We're talking telepathy between counterparts across the country or even the world, feeling like you're in the same room with them. We're talking uncanny synchronicities. You know, those events aligning in ways that defy all logical explanation, like seeing their name everywhere all of a sudden. We're talking about those pesky little repeated numbers, you know, the 1111, 222, 333, 444, everywhere you look. And it's like the universe is trying to get your attention, or maybe your counterpart is trying to communicate with you. And for many of us, it also involved a discovery of parallel lives. Where was that mentioned in the Netflix documentary? And so many of us experienced phantom touch, astral projection, even, a telepathic form of sexy time, as if the person was in the room with us. Thousands of us all over the world are experiencing this same thing, as if we were all hit by a spiritual cosmic truck. And these are not made up stories. They're an undeniable barrage of symptoms that led so many of us down the rabbit hole searching for answers. And Netflix completely ignored all of this, all of these fundamental experiences that make the twin flame journey what it is. And here's where it gets even a little more concerning. The producers of that documentary, Escaping Twin Flames, had full reign of the Twin Flames forum on Reddit. Now, I don't know about you, but when a major streaming service gets that kind of access to an online community that's going through a vulnerable time together, it makes me wonder, is this a controlled narrative? Are they trying to distract the public from what the true twin flame journey is? The producers from the Netflix documentary, they knew about the highly synchronized experiences that tied thousands of perfect strangers together. They had access to their posts and their stories. They read about the Satori, the paranormal telepathic accounts that were way too similar to each other to write off. And yet, Escaping Twin Flames did just that. They wrote off the truth of the twin flame experience, and they completely took it out of the film. And it feels like, I don't know, I'm not very trustful of the mainstream media, but it feels like they're covering up the genuine, unexplainable phenomenon that we all experienced. And in doing so, it kind of makes the general public feel like twin flames are automatically synonymous with cult. It's a very convenient way to dismiss an entire category of the human experience and unfortunately further alienate those going through it. Now, let me be absolutely clear. Jeff and Shalea, the leaders of Twin Flames universe, I do believe that they unfairly capitalized on the desperation for answers, even if that wasn't their original intention. And they rode that wave, that power, as so many people who were longing for union, they rode that wave into riches. And I do recognize that. And that longing for union is what fuels the online twin flame community and trying to find those answers. But my dear nieces and nephews, as your twin flame auntie, I implore that you never let Netflix invalidate your experience or box you into a cult that you are not a member of. Now, does Netflix want you to think you're crazy so you stop looking for the truth? Or do they want to dismiss your spiritual awakening because it doesn't fit into their programming, because it doesn't sell? After surviving the dark night of the soul, so many of us twin flames have reported being catapulted to stratospheric high vibe heights. Many of us report having these feelings of unconditional, universal love, Christ consciousness even. Now, your auntie is pretty secular, and yet I did experience that Christ consciousness. I took a trip through the astral plane, and I know that you did too. It's not psychosis. It's not a mental health scare. And while twin flame cults, yeah, they do exist on the internet for sure. In pockets of, YouTube and other places on the internet, absolutely. But the twin flame experience in and of itself is not a cult. But Netflix would rather peddle nonstop murder and cult documentaries and darkness than have anyone tap into their higher self on a mass level. And I want to ask why? Why is Netflix using the power of mass media to keep vibrations on the planet so low? Why is murder so mainstream and cults are so mainstream, but Christ consciousness is not? I want to keep having these conversations. I want to reclaim our experiences from those who would exploit them. And so, my dear nieces and nephews, I want to ask you, what are your thoughts on the documentary? Did you feel this gaslighting also? Let me know in the comments below. And if this resonated with you, please hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and share this video with anyone who needs to hear it. Until next time, stay strong, stay discerning. Remember, your truth is your own. And also, don't forget, your twin flame auntie loves you, and it's all going to be okay.